Welcome to FIX Romford. Today we're going to be explaining the difference between spray painting your alloy wheels and powder coating your alloy wheels. There's two main techniques when it comes to refurbishing and repairing wheels, and that's either spray painting, which you typically find at body shops and at on the side of the road, and then you have powder coating, which is more OEM and what we do over here at FIX Romford. There's a need for both of them within the industry, and since we come from a body shop background, we've got experience with dealing with both. This is one of the most common questions we get asked, so this video is just going to highlight the differences between the two. Right, so to compare the two techniques, we've got a couple of tests lined up for you guys. We've got a burn test, we've got a scrape test, and we've got an acid test. This is the first video of a series of videos we're making, so please like, subscribe and share, and if there's anything else that you guys want to see us make, please comment it down below. Right guys, follow me into the powder coating room, we'll show you how it's done. Over here we have a spray booth, we've got a couple of guns, we got some smaller ovens, and that's where we bake in the individual wheels, and we have a big oven in where we degas the wheels. The reason why we call it powder coating is it's simple. The substance comes in powder, and then as it melts, it turns into the coating that we're more familiar with. And just to show you what it looks like as it comes out the gun, it comes out the gun as a powder. We electrically charge the wheels, and then the powder just gets sucked onto the wheels. Right, the spraying is a little bit easier. Use guns like this. You put your paint into the top, and you spray it onto. You add an air connection at the bottom here, and you spray it onto the wheels. The layers for spray painting are: we use a primer, we then use 2K black gloss, and then we used a lacquer. We used 2K to just make it a little bit stronger, a little bit more durable, make the test a little bit more fair. With powder coating, we've got the base black powder and the acrylic lacquer, which we use out of guns. Both wheels were prepped in exactly the same way. They were acided, they were sandblasted, and they were obviously all the imperfections were treated. Normally, we've got an acid room and a sandblaster, so that's what every powder coat wheel goes through. Normally, when you're spraying on the side of the road, obviously you don't have that kind of stuff. It's more you use sandpaper and DAs to just smooth out the wheels and get them ready for paint. Just to compare the advantages and disadvantages of both, powder coating is a lot more expensive. Obviously, you need all these machines. It takes a longer time. With all the processes added up, it takes days rather than hours. The colour range on powder coating is limited, but obviously with the industry rapidly expanding, new colours are coming, new colours and effects are coming available every day. You get sent bunches of samples every day. And the last thing is you do need an expert to do powder coating. And just the advantage is powder coating is a lot more durable, it's a lot more resistant to heat, resistant to weather, resistant to scratching, and they say paint lasts, what, 6 to 12 months, whereas powder coating is supposed to last 10 to 15 years. Just before we start marring up the wheels and messing them all up, we thought we'd take a quick thickness test. So we're going to use this little device over here, and it is exactly what it says it is. It's a paint thickness tester. So what we're going to do, we're going to mark up a spot here. We're going to check the thickness. So as you can see, so this is the spray wheel, and it's 0.3 millimeters thickness. Come over to the powder coating wheel, and we get a reading of, can you see that? 0.9 millimeters. So in essence, what we're trying to say is the powder coating wheel, the thickness of the coating is 3 times as much as the spray paint wheel. Now this will come into effect a little bit later in the video. You'll see why this is important. Mainly because of, obviously, the thicker the coating, the more protection it's got, the more durability you've got, and the longer it's going to last. Now we're going to be doing the acid test. We're going to be using this paint stripper. Let's get that in the camera. I'm going to pour out the paint stripper into this cup. We're going to get a paint stripper on both paint brushes. We're going to blob it on the wheels, and we're going to see what happens. I've got my paint stripper. 2 same blobs. And 3, 2, 1. Right, we have labelled our wheels. This one's a powder coating wheel. This one is a paint wheel. We're 12 seconds in. If you zoom in, let's see what's going on. So you can see there's some bubbling up around there. You can see it. I don't know, can you see the bubbling up there? You can also see somewhat of bubbling up here. Can you see that paint's completely now come off? Yeah, and I can just move it all around. Can you see all that paint's just coming off? And then we'll do the same to this one. This one seems to be holding well. And we've started hitting the metal there. Got a wire brush here. And look. It's completely come off. And we go on to this one. And this one's starting to get affected now as well. And that's the base coat. We've not actually gone down to the metal just yet. The paint's completely gone there. The lacquer's completely gone there. The base coat's completely gone. And it's all been dissolved away by the paint thinner. Paint stripper. Whereas on the powder coat, you can see it's had an effect. It's damaged it. Not damaged it as much as the paint will, but even though it is damaged. So we've just done the acid test. We're going to move on to the heat test. We're going to expose the wheels to a flame, a naked flame. That flame does get really hot. It can get as hot as 200-300 degrees. I'm going to hold it this high. That's the powder coated wheel, and that's the painted wheel. This is the flame. Let's see what happens. Right, can you see the paint starting to bubble? Little dots forming. Let's carry on. You can see the huge difference now. Just quickly, before we do the curb test, we've come up with another test. We thought we'd give it, there's a reason why I'm holding this knife, we thought we'd do a bit of a scratch test. So we've got both of the wheels here. We've got this time we've got the powder coat on this side, and we've got the sprayed wheel on this side. Each one of the coatings react. So first we'll start off with the powder coated, and so as you can see, right. So we've got some scratches on it, but really and truly these are just in the lacquer stage, and these. So we have got a few scratches on it. This one, right, let's see how this. Give me the smoke so I can use it. So it's catching a lot more on this, and that's the powder coated. So I'll put them side by side. So that's how each one of them react. Right, we've tried to come up with the most creative way to do a curb test. Obviously we can't hit a curb in the same exact way, so we're going to try not to do it like this. What we've come up with the wheels. We've come up with this little contraption here. We've tied both of our wheels to the back of the alloy fix van. We're going to weigh them down with 25 kg sandbags, and that's basically just going to make sure there's the same amount of weight in each wheel. And basically we're just going to drive 5 miles an hour, scratch up the face as much as possible, and see what the results look like. Let's do this. You might have gone a bit too ham, lads. Obviously both wheels are damaged. We've got the powder coated wheel here. Obviously the lacquer's damaged, but it's not quite gone through to the metal. Whereas on the painted wheel, we've gone past the lacquer, we've gone past the base coat, and we've gone all the way to the metal. And as you can see, it's zoomed in. Right, and this was just panel white. We were spraying on it just so we can see what's going on, just to take off some of the debris. Right, guys, wheels are back from testing, and well, the results speak for themselves. These two are the powder coat wheels. These two are the sprayed on wheels. You can see these two are the ones that went through the scrape test. I mean, I think it speaks for itself. Where you've gone into the metal on every single spoke here, you can see bits of metal on this wheel, but I mean, the results speak for themselves really on that one. And on this one, on the burn test, you can see, I mean, from certain angles, there's a hue on the wheel, there's a change of color, but really and truly, it's smooth, there's nothing on it. The paint, the powder coat hasn't bubbled up, it hasn't started peeling off. Totally different story on the painted wheel. As you can see, massive cracks going across. The paint's bubbled up, it's lifted up, it's gonna start coming off. Look, if you, with your fingernail, I can start scratching it off. And where was the acid test? Acid test is over here. This is the acid test. As you can see, it's gone straight into the metal, no problemo. It's marred up the powder coat wheel, but again, results speak for themselves. All right, that's lovely. I think we're quite happy with how the results turned out. I mean, it's what we expected. The scrape test we might have taken a little bit too far. I think we ran it all the way down this strip, which is about 100 meters. Next time, if we ever do it again, we might just do 5-6 meters, just to show a bit more realistic of what would actually happen when you do hit a curb. But I think the results speak for themselves here. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. And make sure you don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment for anything else you guys want us to see make. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video. Welcome to Alloy FIX Romford. See, as soon as I get on the camera, I haven't said all day. Welcome to Alloy FIX Romford.
You're such a as well, you know that. I forgot what I have to say.
Today we are answering. No, we're not answering nothing.
And I forgot what I have to say, man. I just forgotten what I have to say at the end. How do I finish that?
There's really two. There's only really. Oh, I had it.
From a side, man.
Not a side, man. You can say. Let me say one line. You say one line. I'll say one line. You say one line. Alright guys, follow me. I'm gonna show you. What's the volume down? Keep your fans down, mate.